What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Black Panther. And so here we have the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Black Panther pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. Black Panther does come with several sets of hands. We do get a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of grip hands, a pair of clawing hands, a pair of clawing hands with slash effects attached to them, and a pair of fists with vibranium energy waves attached to them. He also does come with a vibranium spear, which looks really nice. I do like it. And then his final effect is a really nice vibranium wave effect piece, which looks really nice. You can actually pose it in several different ways, so I do like that. Other than that, Black Panther here doesn't come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at Black Panther. And so here we have a closer look at the Revoltech Black Panther, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, really liking the aesthetics of this figure. At first I was a little bit iffy about this particular version of Black Panther, but having it in hand, I have to say I am very impressed with it. So as far as the look and detail of this figure goes, it's kind of an amalgamation of the two movie Black Panther costumes that we saw, along with some inspiration from the comic book itself. So I do like the fact that it takes inspiration from those suits, puts it into this, and then still carries over the comic book traits, so that's really nice. The helmet is 100% the first Black Panther costume. As you can see, it has that same silver patterning. It's not 100% to the movie, but it's similar enough that you can see it draws inspiration from there, especially with the silver accents, the texturing, and the solid purple pieces. But we also have this inner working where you can see some detailing underneath those panels, so that looks really good. I do like that. Having a look at the rest of the costume, you can see he does have the silver necklace where the second vibranium suit spawned from, so that's a really nice little feature. Looks really nice, and I love the silver paint that they used on this figure. Now you can see that there is a little bit of a break in there if you can try to like make it work, but I think this is probably the best setup for it because it still looks natural like that. One thing I absolutely love about this figure is the color of him. He is this really deep, dark, metallic purple, and under my lights, it just shines so beautifully. I like the way the light reflects off of it. Looks really nice. And one thing I like about it is, despite being an amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech figure, it still has an aesthetically pleasing look. You don't see joints everywhere. Yeah, you can see the shoulder joints, the elbow joints, and some cuts here and there, but overall, just looking at this figure, it looks like a really solid figure, and it articulates so much better than you would think. I like the texturing throughout the costume. It is very consistent from the shoulders to the gauntlets to the gloves, the stomach. I really do like this line work in the costume as well. Again, that's taking inspiration from the movie costumes, so I'm not complaining because I really did like the first movie costume. Second movie, not so much. The first costume I liked, second costume not so much. I think the kitty cat face kind of threw me off. But yeah, really do like this. And you can see he has a silver belt, which neither of the suits had. This is more of an add-in from this. But even on the gauntlets, you can see the inspiration from the movies. So these look really nice, and they carry over that same aesthetic that he has on the necklace over to the gauntlet, so that works really well. Really do like it, and you can see it still has all that really nice smooth lines that go out throughout the costume. Very well done. Revoltech and Amazing Yamaguchi has done a really solid job with this character's design. Even going down to where his boots would be, you can see still carries that same pattern throughout the costume. So I like the consistency in that, and I love the consistency in the silver paints. It's very solid, very clean. They really didn't make any errors on the paint work, so I do like that. You can see this is obviously from the comic book. None of the Black Panther movie costumes had these claws as prominent as they were. But yeah, like I said, aesthetically it's an amalgamation of comic book and movies, and it just does the job very well, and I'm very impressed with. Again, I think my favorite part is this head sculpt. It is a very, very good head sculpt for Black Panther. So overall, like the design. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get them compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have the Revoltech Black Panther posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Black Panther posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Black Panther posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And for one final comparison, here we do have the Revoltech Black Panther posed next to the Marvel Legends Civil War Black Panther and the first Black Panther movie costume. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Now, this is where this figure shines the most in the articulation, and that's something Revoltech is known for. If you guys aren't familiar with it, let's run through it. So he does have a ball joint here at the head. I believe it's a double ball joint because you can get some shifting in it, but it is fairly tight and you can really get some upwards movement. As you can see, it goes up really high, not so much down because it kind of butts up against the neck. Tilt, again, not so much, but it does turn left and right. Then we have a ball joint here at the neck, so he can look back about that far. Moving that joint, you can now have him looking down, bearing his chin into his chest. And then we have some really impressive head tilt as well as a little bit more rotation there. His shoulders are kind of actually call them shoulders. His lat muscles are actually on a swivel, so these do swivel forward. They pivot back. They don't go up or down, but they do move forward and back, so you can have them crunch forward like that, or just swing his arms back, so I do like that. You can put it in the middle, which is probably the best thing to do. It gives it a much nicer look, but you can have him sticking his chest out all superhero-like, so I do like that. Then he does have a swivel in the arm, which allows the arm to rotate all the way around, so I do like that. It is on a hinge, so the hinge does go out, but he also has a hinge ball joint, so we have a ball socket connecting the shoulder into the actual shoulder joint, so that does move, as you can see, and it affords so much more movement. It can go up to about right there. It moves forward, back, pivots a little bit. So yeah, we get a lot of movement just in that shoulder. Then we do have a bicep swivel, which works really nicely. We do have a Revoltech joint here in the elbow, so that does give us a fair amount of movement, and that does rotate as well in case you need that. He does have a ball joint here at the forearm, so it's a peg going into a ball joint, so that does move forward and back, and that does help with closing up the joint. As you can see, you can have him like that, and that's a really nice single joint, or you can push it a little bit further and give him a double joint. The only thing is, it does create some gapping, so be aware of that. And that, of course, that does rotate. He has rotation here at the gauntlet. We have a ball hinge here at the wrist, so that does provide up and down, or we can have in and out movement depending on how you have that situated, and that does rotate on that pin. He does have a ball joint here in the torso, which leans back to about that far, so that's some really good range. Crunches forward that far, so that's really good just on that one joint. I just popped it out of place, but yeah, he does get some side to side, but if you try pushing it too far, you will pop the joint off the socket, so be careful for that. As far as rotation goes, it does rotate, but most of the rotation is going to be done here at the waist, and the waist is also on a ball joint, so combining those two, he gets a really deep crunch, and going back, not as much as a forward crunch, but I would much rather prefer this than going back. So the legs are on ball joints, so they do move out to about right there. You can actually get them to go further. You just need to rotate the leg outward and move it forward like that, and we can get all splits. And it is a little bit complicated, but yeah, once you get that joint moving, it does everything you need it to. Goes back, goes forward, goes out to the side, even goes inward a little bit. So yeah, really nicely designed leg. A little over-engineered, but it still works. We do have a rotation here at the thigh, single bend at the knee, but it gives us all the way back. Then we have another ball joint here at his, what would be his boot. It does move forward, back, side to side, rotates. We have a hinge in the ankle going back, only to about that far, forward to about that far. That rotates, but he has a ball joint connecting his ankle to that joint, so it does go back even further, so I do like that. It doesn't go too far forward, unfortunately, so that is sad, but yeah, going back, it goes back. Not so much forward-facing pin, but it is a ball joint, so it does rotate. So that is there, and then he has a toe hinge, which goes back to about right there. So overall, very, very good articulation. It does gap up in some poses, but you can always close that up, and with some well-placed photography, you can make it look really nice. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Black Panther pose for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Black Panther pose for my final thoughts, and overall, I really do like the way this figure came out. Don't get me wrong, it's still a Revoltech figure, and there is some learning on how to make some of the joints work. There's a lot of things that go into making an amazing Yamaguchi figure actually pose the way you want it to, but once you get it in a pose, it really, really strikes a really good pose, and I absolutely like that about the Revoltech figures. They're getting better and better when it comes to the aesthetics of the character. It's now looking more and more like a human rather than a segmented human. If that makes sense, you just gotta check out their version 1 of Deadpool and Spider-Man and compare it to Black Panther, and you can see a difference in the design of each of those characters. I really do like this figure. It came out really nice. When I saw it initially, I was curious about it because it's a Black Panther, and he's the suit really does strike me as one of the better suits that they've made, and this character, or the figure itself, is done very well. Now, like I said, there is a learning curve to using the articulation, and once you understand it, you can actually get this figure posed just about any way you want, and I really do like that. Yeah, some poses will look a little bit gappy, it will look a little bit broken up at times, but you can use clever camera tricks to make that work to your advantage. I have him posed like this, and there's really hardly any gaps in him. There's no trick of the lens to make him look like he's actually slashing. It's the actual figure itself, and that's one thing I really do like. Once you get him posed, you're really gonna love this figure. Now, I did get mine from HobbyLink Japan, where he did run me about $90. Actually, it was more like $80. After shipping, came out to about $100, but I did get him shipped with Venom, so I did get them both shipped for about $20 together, so that's pretty good. I really do like the way this figure came out. If you are looking for a Black Panther, he is available on sites like AmiAmi and HobbyLink Japan, which is where I picked mine up. If you are interested in getting him early, definitely pick him up from HobbyLink Japan, or if you want to wait for him to arrive domestically, you can do that. He will run you about $95 domestic, so it's about a $15 markup, and that's just the way domestic currency works, unfortunately. So yeah, if you can get him imported, I really do think you should do it. If not, wait for him, pick him up when he hits Big Bad Toy Store and other stores like that. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Revoltech figures. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified anytime I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.